Hey everyone, welcome back to Zero to Cloud. My name is Rakesh, and today let's talk about something every developer faces. You build a web app, but then you realize you need a backend for storing data, authenticating users, and hosting your site securely. You could set up servers, configure database, manage authentication manually, but there is a lot of overhead just to get started. What if there was a way to skip all the setup and still have everything hosting, login, and database ready in minutes? That's exactly where Firebase comes in. So, what Firebase? Think of Firebase as your complete backend in the cloud. You focus on building your app's feature, and Firebase takes care of everything else behind the scene. It gives you service for hosting your website globally, authenticating users, and storing and syncing your app data in real time. And the best part, you don't have to manage any servers, security patches, or scaling issues. Google Cloud does it all automatically. Now we understand more about Firebase. So as you know, Firebase is a Google serverless platform for building apps, and you don't have to worry about backend and all those stuff. So it also includes services like Firestore, which is a NoSQL database that syncs the data in real time. For authentication, it supports Google, email, GitHub, and there are more things you can use for an authentication. Hosting for deploying web apps globally with CDN, cloud functions which runs backend code globally with CDN. Storage can be used for hosting the image and files and all of those things. The best part, Firebase is fully integrated with Google Cloud. You can connect your Firebase project to a GCP project and access cloud logging, IAM roles, API, and more. Think of Firebase as your fast lane of app development. Everything managed, scalable, and built on top of Google Cloud. So let's understand the architecture before we start building. So this diagram shows how Firebase service integrate with Google Cloud platform to deliver a completely serverless web app, meaning we don't manage any servers. Everything scales automatically. So in the left side, you can see there are two main personas. One is ops team and another one is developer. Both collaborate using a shared Git repositories. Developer push their code, usually the front end web app, and ops can manage deployment or CI/CD through Git repo. So all code and configuration lives in version control. That's our single source of truth. In the middle section, uh, now this is where the Firebase service comes into the play. Inside the Google Cloud environment, we are using two major Firebase components. One is Firebase Hosting, and another one is Firebase Authentication. So the Firebase Hosting serves as our front end deliver layer. It takes the static content, such as it's in JavaScript or CSS, from the Git repo and deploy that to Google's global CDN. This ensures that when user visit the website, it loads fast and securely over HTTPS from the nearest edge location. And the second service, Firebase Authentication. Authentication is how users securely signs in into our app. And Firebase supports multiple methods such as Google, email password, GitHub, and more. So while we will be doing the demo in the later video, we'll be using Google sign-in method to log in into our app. So in the right side, the backend cloud Firestore. So once the user logs in and interact with the app, all the dynamic data like user profile, appointments, or customer record is stored in Firestore, which is Firebase database service. And as I've already told, the Firebase data store is a fully managed Cloud NoSQL database updates in real time, meaning if one user updates data, everyone else instantly sees it without a page reload. Now we can move to the our demo part. Now that we understand the setup, we are going to actually build this step by step using Google Cloud. So in this demo, we'll create a Firebase project. We'll set up the hosting, enable the authentication, and connect it to Firestore. I'll walk you through the console. So as I'm already logged into Google Cloud, and here I'll select the project where we'll be doing this. So I'll select this project. So next step would be we'll look for the Firebase service. So you can just search here in console Firebase. So there will be some results. So yeah, click on Firebase. So in Firebase, you'll see there are multiple options, and I understand like you'll get confused which one to select because there are a lot of more options. So for now, so as we need to host the app, so we'll select this one, Firebase app hosting. Click on Get Started. Click this Get Started. Select this. I accept this and continue. So you can see my project is unreal. All these things are there. So you can see there are multiple options here: project overview, contain multiple options, settings, permissions, usage, billing, alert, subscription, and then we have built, run, analytics in the air. There are a lot of options available in Firebase. There is very useful uh, service in Google Cloud. So let's start with building the app. So how you can do that? You need to first click on this option, add app, and then click here, web. So here you can register the name of your app, like what would be the name. So I'll maybe say first demo Firebase. You can give anything. I want to set up the hosting, so I'll click on set the hosting, and here you can see you can use this, or either if you want you can create a new site like this, and use this. So this will be your web app hosting URL. So now you can use this. You can click on register app, and then use this and click on next. Install Firebase CLI next, and yeah, this all things have been created. So just click on continue to console. So now you can see that your app is here. First demo Firebase app. You can see this. Next part would be we'll do the add the authentication as we discussed. It has authentication, so we can click on the authentication. Click on get started, and we need to use Google as a provider. So we'll click on Google. You need to select this enable option, and project is selected, and you can use this support email and click on save. So we'll check few other things such as authorized domain if it is added or not. So I guess it's already there, but yeah, I'll reconfirm that. If it is not, then you have to click on add domain, add your URL domain ID, and click on add. So it will add that. So as I think we have already used this as a domain, so we doesn't want to do that, but still we'll reconfirm that. And how to reconfirm? You can click on this and click here and check. Okay, so we have already used that, and it's already there in the authentication authorized domain tab. So we don't have to add that. Let's say, for example, if I've added something else and which is not there in the domain part. So in that case, I have to manually add that domain and add that. So in that case, like what I've done, I will click on setting, go to authorized domain, I'll click on add domain, whatever the name I'll have to do test, example, something like that. And you can add that to domain. This is how we can add it. But as you don't need this, so I'll just delete this. So this is done. So authentication part is done. Okay, so as authentication is completed, now will create the database, the Firestore database. So you need to click on build and you need to look for Firebase database. Yeah, so this the one. So it's a cloud Firestore. So click on create database and keep everything as default. What's there on the screen. So click on next standard edition. Will keep the name as default and everything. Next, and then click create. So yeah, once the database is created, one thing we're gonna add here, we'll update the rules. So I'll show you like where the rules are and what it does. So yeah, so as the database is created, the name is default and all the other details are here. So click on rules and we'll add a rule that makes that uh, only the user with authenticated access can log in into your app. An unauthenticated user will not be able to log in. So I will just update this. So I've already have written. So I will copy that and I'll just update that. And you need to click on publish. So yeah, this has been done. It has been updated. So now we have created the hosting. We have created the authentication. We have created the database. Three things are done. Now we'll move to hosting part. So I've already opened uh, the ID here. So first of all, we need to update the dependencies and all those stuff. So yeah, for that we have a command that is npm. So yeah, meanwhile it's working. So I'll explain you what's there here. So I've already have a code. It's a JSON. I've already have a code. You can see this here. So it's a HTML code and JavaScript. So everything is there. So I've already added that. Which what it does, it actually just create a simple page, just like a login page. You can see where username and email IDs. So that's it. It's a basic page. And based on that, like before that, but we'll have authentication as we have already added the authentication in Firebase. So before logging into that web page, it will ask you to authenticate using your Google Gmail ID. Once you authenticate it, then only it will show that page. So it's a basic website, nothing fancy here. So yeah, meanwhile, we'll wait for this dependencies to get installed. Yeah, usually it takes like a couple of minutes to load. Now you can see that uh, the dependencies have been installed. So next step would be will be authorizing our Firebase project. So for that, the command is Firebase login, no localhost. So we'll click on that. So it will ask a few things, and you need to authenticate your project, the Firebase project. Okay, started. So it's asking for enter the authorization code. So how you can get that? So you need to click on this URL, copy the URL, and it will ask you to ask it will ask the login. So yeah, I've logged in using this credential. I'm going to log in into this. Continue. Allow. So it will ask you if if the command run by you. So you should just said yes, I just ran the command. So you need to match this with your this session ID 2C274. So 2C274. So this is correct. So I'll click this and then I'll copy this, enter this. So I'll click enter. Yeah, success. So logged in. So now I'm logged in using this project. So now we need to initialize this. So we have a command called Firebase in it. So yeah. So in that case, you need to select which things you're gonna use. So in our case, we are using Firestore. So you need to. So how you can move this? So you can use down arrow to move this. And let's say if you want to select anything. So in that case, let's say I have to select the Firestore. So I'll click this space. It will select the Firestore and then hosting. So we only using these two parts. So we'll click select those and click enter. And it says please select an option like use an existing project or create a new project. So we want to use the existing project. Click enter. Review the project ID. Yeah, it's same. So I'll click enter. Okay, so you said that. Okay, I want to use this as it is. I don't want to overwrite it. Click enter. No. Click enter. No. 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 Yeah, okay. So you can see this Firebase initialization complete. So Firebase has been initialized. Now we can actually host this. Okay, so it's been deployed. Now you need to just click on this URL and log in it. So I'll click this. Okay, I need to copy it. So I've just copied this. I'll cancel this. Okay, so it will ask you to log in. So I'll click on sign in with Google. Select the account. Continue. Okay, that's it. You can see this. It's as I said earlier, like it's not a fancy website or like that. So it's just a basic website where a profile section is added with customer name and customer for all those details. So as you can see that using the Firebase authentication, after we providing all the authentication detail, it logged into our site. So now we can do a few more things here. Like we can just try to add few more details, such as name and phone number, and see if that goes into our database. So we'll add a few few code update. So I've already have code. Like I'll use this. So in web page, I'll use this code. Should be in customer.js. So I'll update the customer.js with this code. Okay. And CSS with this. So I just save this. And now we can see if our website is updated or not. So just click on refresh. No, it's not showing it. So how we can do some hard refresh here. So either click Command Shift and R. It will do a hard refresh. Is it still not working? So think like why it's not working? Because we have updated the HTML code, CSS code, but however, we have not deployed this again. I mean, we haven't deployed this again. That's the reason it's not getting updated. So in that case, first you need to host this again so that the updated code will take effect and then you can see the new websites. So I'll come again here. I will redeploy that. Okay, it's been redeployed now. Now we can see again. Still the same. Now I'll hit the Control Shift and R to do hard reset. That's it. Now it's been refreshed and we can see the updated profile and all those details. So we have already added customer email, and let's say we add few other detail like let's say customer name is John and number something like that. Click on Save Profile. Now we see if this data move to our Firestore database or not. So how we can see that? So go to Google Console again and look for database. Yeah, this database. That's it. You can see the record has been added. You can see in the email of the user, name John, and the phone number, like the temporary phone number which I've added. All right. So we have built and deployed a complete serverless app using Firebase Hosting, Firebase Authentication, and Cloud Firestore, all running on Google Cloud. Just let's take a minute to really understand what we achieved here, because this setup is a real world production architecture, not just a demo. So what we have built, our web app runs on Firebase hosting, meaning our static files are delivered globally through, through Google CDN. That's why your site loads super fast, no matter where your users are. Then we used Firebase authentication for secure user logins, and that's not just limited to Google signing. You can easily add GitHub, Twitter, or even phone authentication with literally one line of config. Finally, all user-generated data like post, profile, or message goes straight into Firestore, which syncs in real time. No need to refresh the page. No need for API servers. The front end talks directly to database with secure rules in place. So now the beauty of what we just did is that the same architecture scales from one user to million user without any extra step. So that's the power of serverless. You focus purely on your logic and user experience, and Google handles performance, scaling, and security on. So if you are following this Zero to Cloud series, this was your first deep dive into the Firebase ecosystem on GCP. In the next videos, we will expand on this. We will integrate cloud functions, deploy CI/CD using Cloud Build, and later connect this setup with Cloud Run for more complex backend logic. So this is not just a theory. We are building your full Google Cloud developer skill set. So why demo at a time? So if you made till here, you are not just watching, you are learning by doing, and that's what separate passive passive viewers from real builders. So I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with what you built using Firebase, or if there is a specific Google Cloud topic you want me to cover next. Thank you.